Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Hello, you crazy dick fucker!
Party time!
Hello! Las Vegas, hello world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you and always good to be seen. This is another effing podcast, and I'm your host, Izzy Presley. Hello, how you been? It's been a couple weeks because I had the Monsters of Rock cruise last week and had a goddamn blast, and I got the cankles to prove it. We got a great show for you this weekend. The reason we were not live on Tuesday is because I did a pre-recorded interview with Klaus Eichstadt and Dave Fortman of Ugly Kid Joe. We recorded that on Sunday afternoon before their show here in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock. Yes, at the Hard Rock. That's where it was. It was the Hard Rock with Fozzy, of course. So we're going to get to that in just a little bit. Make sure you guys hit up all the social medias at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, the show page is Another Effing Podcast right there on the Facebook. Yes. And of course, if you guys do like what I do and want to support the show, it's very, very easy. Venmo, Real Izzy Presley, $ Izzy Presley on the CashApp, izzypresley@yahoo.com on the PayPal. You know how it all goes. YouTube, subscribe. I suppose right now, if I was like sufficient, I'd be putting those click this shit all over here, but fuck it. You guys know what to do. You're not brain dead like me. So, had a great time on the Monsters of Rock cruise. The Cruiser Jam went off outstanding. Brought my Telecaster, my Vintage USA Telecaster, and my Vintage USA Les Paul. And everybody that played them loved them. Check those guys out. Vintage USA guitars. They are phenomenal and they are affordable. Like the Les Paul's like $450 or something like that. That was like dude, they're great. I have one of my good friends, Brian Ott, has a 52 Fender reissue, and he can't tell the difference. They're so goddamn good. Check them out. No, it was awesome, man. Freaking jammed with Keith and Anthony from Tora Tora, Johnny D, Brian Forsyth from Kicks, good friend Brent Woods, Dave fucking Ellefson played, Chad Stewart from Faster Pussycat, the Bloodline. Graham Whitford, the son of, yes, Brad Whitford from Aerosmith, actually played in this Aerosmith jam. It was awesome. It was so cool. And I know there's a few that I can't remember off the top of my Thornton melon right now, and importantly, the cruisers got to play with these people, and that's what makes it so goddamn special. It was awesome. It was fun. I did Toys in the Attic, playing guitar, and I sang on Chip Away at the Stone. Jimmy Chalfant, he played as well. Genocide from Paradise Kitty. And then I was supposed to play on Sweet Emotion, but Graham was already on stage. So I'm like, Graham, you want to play this? He's like, yep. There you go. Because I'd rather play with him than me any day of the week, of the year, whatever. So it was awesome. The bands, all the bands were awesome. Extreme. I caught a little bit of Extreme during the pool stage show. And then after he messed up his knee, they were playing in the theater, and I was down there in front in the Sasquatch outfit. So I was only there for like maybe half a song because I didn't want to block people's view, filming some stuff. It was fun. It was awesome. Rose Tattoo. Oh my God. Oh my God, King. My God. Rose Tattoo Holy shit. Amazing. Caught a little bit of Kicks, caught a little bit of Tesla. Just a hair of Faster Pussycat. I was so goddamn busy. And then we had our Punchlines and Backslines show that I produced with Courtney Cronin Dold and Don Jameson, and they both performed, and so did Jim Florentine. And I'm sure you hear the goddamn leaf blower going in the background, but hey, it's before noon. Why not have a leaf blower going all goddamn day? And then our special guest the first night was Todd Latore from Queensryche, and he absolutely slayed. He was great. Reb Beach the second night from Winger. He was amazing. It was so fun. Packed house each night. And then, of course, you know, the karaoke madness shit show that I do with my good friend Brian Ott. Amazing, dude. Just so much fun. It's the whole crew, Larry Morand, everybody. I'm not even going to start naming names because I know I'll forget somebody and then somebody might get sad that I forgot them. But hey, it is what it is. It's such an honor to be able to be on that boat every single year. And the fact that they let me do what I do is it's so goddamn good. It's awesome. Thank you everybody involved with the cruise, and it's so much appreciated. Hold on, another sip of coffee. So then we could go in. Look, everybody's done the reviews. It is what it is, and I love it. How can you not? So Sunday, I did an interview, like I said, with Klaus and Dave from Ugly Kid Joe right here. And it's going to look a little awkward. It's going to look like three guys huddled around a TV trying to see boobies on HBO, hoping their parents don't catch them. But it was a fun, laid back, unprepared, last minute interview. And talking about their tour with Fozzy that came through here on Sunday night. And I found out at the end of the interview that there is a brand new record. That record is called, I should know this off the top of my head, but I do not, because I don't even remember what my real name is. Rad Wings of Destiny. It is out. It is available. You're going to hear a little bit of the track That Ain't Living. And it's so goddamn good. So goddamn good. I forgot. And during the show, I'm like, that's Tim Binder's fault. He didn't tell me. Well, he did. So it's not Binder. Binder, I apologize for calling you out, but I was wrong. The show was great. Fozzy's always phenomenal. Obviously, Chris Jericho and my good friend PJ Farley. They were great, and I'm not going to get into that. Actually, no, you know what? I do have a problem. And this is not the show. This is not the bands. This is not anything with the bands, but the Hard Rock in Las Vegas. This happened at the Last in Line show too. They don't accept cash at the door. They do not accept cash at the door. If you want to have cash at hand and pay for a ticket, you have to go through all this fucking ticket web online bullshit at the door. Irritated me. But it is what it is. I got in. I had fun. I had a blast. And thank you to the good people at Ugly Kid Joe for taking care of me. Yes. The show itself, Ugly Kid Joe, I have not seen them since the Ozzy Osbourne No More Tours tour. And I remember they were really good. But, you know, you're an Aussie. Well, it's the last about tours after this, you know, man. It was them and Slaughter at the Target Center in Minneapolis. I remember that show was phenomenal. It was great. But Ugly Kid Joe, let me tell you about this. If you are a fan of real live rock and roll, no tracks, just a fucking band laying it all out there. Whitfield sounded amazing. The whole band's so tight, so good. Their first U.S. tour in 27 years. 27 years since they've toured the U.S. I think they played a couple spot shows here and there. And we get into all that in the interview. But holy shit, get out and see these guys. I forgot how goddamn good this band is. I mean, I always liked them, yada, 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 but I was in awe. I was in absolute awe. They had the crowd in the palm of their hands. Witt's a great front man, super nice guy. I got to meet him after the show. Jesus Christmas. You know, they do all the hits. They do some stuff off of the new record, which is available now. You're going to hear a little bit of the track That Ain't Living right before we go into the interview. And Jesus, just get out and see these guys. Get out and see this tour. Fozzy, I mean, obviously Fozzy's amazing. Fozzy's great. They got the radio hits, current radio hits, which is amazing. It's awesome. It's good to see a rock band, you know, with knocking it up on the radio. It's fucking great to see, and great to see a real live fucking band. God damn, Ugly Kid Joe. Jesus Christ. And and they covered the Ace of Spades, which you can find on my YouTube channel, which you are watching right now if you're watching this. But yeah, check them out. Check out the tour. I think they're going through the beginning of June or July. I can tell you that right now. I got the dates in front of me. I just have to look at them. Where is that? It is right here. Oh, yeah. Through Saturday, June 10th, I believe, is the last night of the tour. So you still got some time to see them. If they come through your town, check them out. You're going to love it. And you know what? Without further ado, let's just do this. Here is 30 seconds. And of That Ain't Living. The tour dates are going to come up while you're hearing this. And right after that, myself with Klaus and Dave from Ugly Kid Joe sitting in front of this computer, huddled. I didn't have the full setup because it happened so fast. And I was working. I got here late. They weren't here yet, thankfully, but I didn't have time to set up the whole goddamn thing. And whatever. It was fun. It's laid back. It's awkward. Awkward is my middle name. What can I say? And so here it is. Here is just a little bit of That Ain't Living right here on another fucking podcast. Hey, we are back in another fucking podcast. I got Dave and Klaus from Ugly Kid Joe here in studio in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. You guys are in town tonight. This will air on Tuesday, but you guys are here in town tonight. Yeah. You haven't toured in 27 years?
In the U.S.
Yep.
Oh, in the U.S.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been touring Europe regularly, and we've done Australia and South America, but the U.S. we've played 3 shows actually over the last 27 years. Randomly, but this is the first tour in 27 years.
So there was no break. You guys were together the whole time?
No, we had like a 12-year break.
Okay,
Yeah.
12
No, it
years.
started back up.
Yeah.
What, 2012? I think.
2011 was when we started the EP.
Yeah.
Stereo to
Okay.
Hell.
All right.
Yeah,
So
we had a 13-year break from each other. And we had a big break, but with the break of touring the US has been a lot longer.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's you guys, you're out with Fozzy.
Mhm.
Was there a idea of like, maybe we should get somebody that's a little bit newer and on the radio, maybe to help, or is it what was the idea of bringing Fozzy?
I don't think we know. Do you know?
Yeah, I don't. All I know is that we were like, we haven't toured the States. We want to have another bill on the bill.
Yeah.
To draw people. And
Right.
thought, we've played with Fozzy a couple times way back in England, and he's Chris Jericho's super nice guy.
Yeah,
and we had some fun shows with them. And when the name came up, both camps were like, yeah, that'd be fun, and he has a podcast. We figured this will be a fun sort of event.
Right.
And it is. It's great. It's WWE meets UKJ. Right?
Yeah, that's right. That's
Perfect
right.
match.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, how's it been going so far? Is it
Great.
Really cool.
Yeah.
We started in San Diego It was great. What do we show for tonight?
This is four.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you're really fresh into this.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're starting.
yeah.
It's starting to lube up.
Yeah, we had a day off
Working now.
yesterday, so we should be fresh.
Were you guys hanging out in Vegas yesterday? Or did you get in?
I fucking hung out in the hotel room, man.
Oh
Wow.
shit!
Well, we're sort of, we're 55 now, so we're like, we're not going to do
Yeah.
the Vegas thing the night before a show.
Right.
So-
Look,
and
look,
we
you-
are we were both looked this morning. We were like, dude, this is the first time
Yeah.
I've ever woke up in
Ever.
Vegas not hungover in my life.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like the weather's perfect. It's
Me
all
too.
sunny, and
Yeah.
oh, this is so. I was like, this is the happiest I've ever woken up in Vegas in a hotel room.
Dude, it's
Easily.
weird, man. It's
Yeah.
like when I moved here, I've been here for a year. It'll be May 9th will be 1 year, and you learn really fast. Like when you come to Vegas, you come to Vegas to do Vegas.
Yeah,
When you live in Vegas, you don't let Vegas do you.
yeah,
Wow.
You know,
fucking
fuck yeah.
But
good statement.
living this close to the strip,
I know you're right there.
I'm right here.
You
I mean,
just
you guys are
stumble
staying
there.
kitty corner.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I get home from work and I grab a couple of beers out of the fridge. I go for a walk because you can do that.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
yeah, we in California, we gotta have a coffee and eat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you step on the sidewalk with a beer in California, and all of a sudden you get tackled.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like
Oh, you could just drink
like run.
like in a neighborhood too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can walk
Wow,
down the street with a
rad.
beer.
Oh yeah. Walk down the street with a beer, whatever you
No
want.
rules.
It's great. It's awesome. It
That's
is awesome.
amazing,
What-
actually.
do you remember the last time you guys played Vegas?
I do. I think it was on it was 95, wasn't it? We had Mikey. It was a tech.
Yes, yes.
Mikey Dolan from
that,
Snot,
that was fun as hell.
Channel Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know where we played, but then we all
Remember either. It was a club.
hung
It
out.
was a
I
club.
think at the Aladdin Hotel or something.
Yeah, we had a
Oh,
blast.
yeah,
we
that's
have
long ago.
photos to prove it. We have us.
yeah.
Our photographer snuck a camera and was like taking stealth pictures of us, and it's a rad. Like he's a pro. He had a rad camera. It was like kind of like a fisheye, and you could see us all like sitting at the blackjack table, like all happy
yeah.
and drunk, like and you can tell Mikey's got a rad hand because he's all. Like, it's the greatest picture ever. I totally found it, and
rules.
scanned it, and it's in my phone or something. I don't know, but it's a great picture.
That's awesome. Did you no, I saw you guys once, and that was on Ozzy's No More Tours tour.
Yeah.
What do you guys remember about that tour? I know it was a long
the
time ago.
greatest.
Greatest,
Yeah.
probably the
It was the first
Yeah.
first tour I ever did with the band. It was it was wild. Just every day we would sound check in an arena. We'd be like, fuck, this is
It was
crazy.
the ultimate
Yeah, it was amazing.
arena experience for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And opening for arguably one of our favorite heavy metal artists ever, Ozzy Osbourne.
Right. You got to have some good Ozzy
Yeah.
touring stories.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was sober, which is we call it the No
Yep.
More Beers tour.
Oh
And he was
shit.
he would work out in his boxing every day, and then we had no backstage like party anything, and then one day a big case of beer arrives, Budweiser, I think. Love Ozzy. Like he was like,
Wow.
what? They're a new band. Let them have their fun. And we're like, oh, it kind of opened the
Yeah.
floodgates of nothing crazy, but it was just
Right,
like
right.
Ozzy was like, come on, just because I'm sober doesn't.
You want to get these guys some fucking beers, man. You
Yeah,
know?
totally. Yeah. And what do you do? Like one time we get in the dressing room, it smells all bad, and he's like, see, he threw a stink bomb in our dressing room. And then I saw him, and he was like running around the corner, like
What do you guys learn from being on a tour that young with Ozzy? With
Well,
something that
we
big?
were all into, I mean, meeting Zach was pretty
Yeah.
rad for us.
Yeah.
And then, Mike Inez, just you see, I mean, that's one of our heroes, I don't think I had seen Ozzy before that, until we toured with him. So it's really a matter of, I mean, we're young. We're like, holy shit, this is how the
big boys do
raddest
it.
guy ever does it.
Yeah.
So you get a natural sort of training, I think.
Although
the tour.
in Zach's case, who arguably is one of my favorite, probably my favorite living guitar player, is that he didn't teach us much about how to warm up, did he?
No, he'd fucking be on our bus drinking Coronas
Yeah.
and not warming up. And the dude kept telling him 2 minutes, Zach, and he would run on stage and shred.
Just, I mean,
Right
it was
out of just
crazy. I'm like, how?
cold
I go
hand,
like
just-
a half
yeah.
an hour before I kind of play my clanky leads, and he
Yeah.
goes up there after 3 beers, just
shred.
running around the
Yeah.
arena playing with his guitar up like this, like one of the greatest live
Yeah.
guitar playing shows that we got
Yeah.
to see every night. From the side of the stage, this guy do these amazing,
That's the only
Beats of
time I've
guitar
ever
playing.
seen anybody pull that off is
Yeah.
without any warm up,
just
to shred at his. I mean, that's a heavy
his
shred level.
is- It's up there.
But
man.
to be Zach Wild, I mean, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's yeah. It just
That was rad.
yeah. Then all the thumb harmonics. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The signature squeal.
That's the thing. I try to throw a few in every night. It's not as easy as it looks. Sometimes you miss them and it's like, but when you get them, it's beautiful.
Oh, trust me, dude. I play Ace Frehley songs.
Yeah.
Pulling off anything like that,
Right.
it's like, holy shit, how did I do that?
Yeah.
And you guys had Slaughter on that tour too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slaughter, Faster
Cool.
Pussycat for
Yep.
one chunk, Slaughter for one chunk.
Okay.
Motorhead for a huge chunk.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was it like touring with Lemmy?
Because he was nice. Really, I mean,
They were the nicest,
really cool
funniest
guys. All
English
those guys. Yeah.
blokes, lads
Yeah.
ever. Yeah.
That's
Lemmy,
great.
I mean, the guy, everything that he would say was kind of had a punchline. It was
Right.
amazing. I mean, he was always really cool and mellow and really sweet. And he would always have a little joke, a little, funny little saying or something. And it was like, you just being around him. We were watching football one night. It was the Washington Redskins and at the time, and the Dallas Cowboys. And we're in the lobby and he comes down. He's like, what you all doing? I'm all watching Monday Night Football. He's like, who's playing? I'm like, the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys. He's like, you Americans and your Cowboys and Indians. and then there's a huddle. It's the Dallas Cowboys huddling, and they all have the star on, and they're all huddling in the helmets with the star. And he's like, who's that? Security? Like just this is like the first time I ever talked to him. It's like everything that he said made me laugh. I mean, the guy, brilliant.
I just remember seeing his cutoff shorts.
Oh my God. You saw those in person?
Oh, yeah. I think it was, we were at a bar after when we met him or something. And he was playing pool, and I was like, whoa, fuck, it's Lemmy, man. With the little shorts on. Yeah, he's the raddest ever. He was, I mean, him and Wick got close.
Yeah.
And stayed friends for up until the day, when we would go out and ride on the bus for long stretches of time and hang with them,
Yeah, Witt's got a million rad Lemmy stories.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can just imagine. I can just imagine. You guys, now you came in at a very
Dude, I'm gonna just grab a water while we're on there.
Get some parts for it, brother. Go for it. Can you grab me one too?
I'm good. I got one.
No, you guys came in at a really weird time. You hit like just as the Great Wall of Nirvana was hit.
Yeah. We were just talking about
Thank
that
you.
earlier today. Yeah.
And well, because obviously you sound nothing like that grunge era,
Right.
and you popped. I mean, obviously everything about you just
Right.
exploded. Were you surprised that you were able to hold on as long as you were? Because a lot of the bands, because you were at that tail end of the quote unquote, I know I hate
hair metal.
yeah, I hate that term.
Glam rock. Whatever.
Yeah, glam rock. Yeah, it's glam
I
rock.
love glam rock.
Yeah, but you guys weren't that,
Right.
but you were still. That's what you were getting played with.
Right.
Right. Were you surprised that you were able to hold on as long as you were with the way that grunge came in and just kind of
We didn't
flushed
hold
everything?
on. We didn't hold on that much longer in the US, but in Europe, for some reason, it just kept rolling.
Yeah.
And then when we reunited, that's why we figured we'll just go to Europe. But
Yeah.
so I think one of the things we were talking about earlier, we weren't really glam, obviously.
Right.
And as an image thing, like if you listen to I'm going to say a Cinderella record, you're like, that's some great music.
Oh.
But when you look at them, you're like, yeah, that's kind of like at that time, you're like, that's not cool anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And so, we weren't that, but we definitely weren't like, but our sound was probably more that, more like a little Van Halen-esque kind of fun rock, kind of some humor and all that crap. It wasn't very dark and Seattle-y, but anyway, yeah. So, in a way we were like, whatever happens, and we're just happy to actually be opening for Bon Jovi.
Fuck it. I mean, that was 95.
Yeah.
I mean, we were stoked because, it was all the sort at the same time. Grunge was killing what Nirvana was, 92.
Yeah.
And we kept rocking, man. We were, Jesus, we were playing stadiums with
Wembley.
Bon Jovi and Van Halen in 95. I mean, so our happiness level was through the fucking roof on that.
Yeah.
On that tour, man. Then we even went and did like a snowboard tour in 96. So I think, we're really happy.
Yeah,
we still around
for
at that
several
time.
years. Did go to Europe a lot, and like you said, opening for Van Halen for like a summer tour.
Yep.
It was Bon Jovi, Van Halen, Ugly Kid Joe. So
Oh my God.
I was see Eddie every again.
Oh
Yeah,
my
about Zach.
God.
We were hanging out with
Eddie
him.
every night.
I mean, for us, we're Van Halen dudes. So we grew up Van Halen. So being in that moment, for me, and I think I speak for everybody, that it had to be the raddest time in our lives, man. I was like fucking tripping. hanging out before they go on stage. I'd sit back there. Eddie played Mean Street in his underwear for him. I'm sitting on the floor with Alex Van Halen learning 6-stroke rolls with drumsticks on the floor. You know, I don't think anything has ever been that amazing in my life.
Right.
We were
And
American kids,
music,
grew up
you know.
in the 80s. Van Halen was it was the Bible.
nuts,
It was
Yeah,
our-
yeah. I mean, you guys got me by 5 years. I'm 50.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. But Van Halen, I mean, Eddie, that
it was our high school years.
yeah, completely. It was why
it was my
I
biggest
started playing
influence.
guitar. It was
Yeah,
Eddie Van Halen,
for sure.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine. Can you describe that feeling of? I didn't know you guys were doing those stadiums.
Wembley Stadium,
Fucking Wembley
sold
Stadium.
out
Just
in '95.
hitting that A chord
Yeah,
and
yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
that stadium volume.
You know what's rad is right before you go on and you know your tech hands you the guitar and make sure everything's plugged in. You go,
Yep.
and it kind of goes, it's like, and you hear the guy go because they know the band's getting ready, and
Yeah.
it's just like I remember being a kid and we were talking about right, like is that Eddie actually making that sound? Is that the tech?
yeah.
Is that? And you're like, oh shit, they're getting like you're like whatever you're doing, you like drop what you're doing, and get ready, and it's just being the guy that actually does the sound. It's the same feeling. You get the goosebumps, and you're like you hear the crowd, and then you're like, oh shit, I gotta take a shit.
Yeah.
Because this is so exciting. So yeah,
It's sound check too.
Yeah.
I remember going out and even way before that when or maybe it was a year before, but we played Rock in Rio, which was then called Hollywood Rock. But first, sound check was where I would always go like, whoa, you get a chance just sort of to dig in and feel it in this giant
soccer stadium or
big ass.
else.
The PA was so fucking tall back then. I would just go stand over there and just be all, fuck, that's insane. So every day was like that with on the Bon Jovi tour.
Yeah, and we didn't care about what was happening in terms of like what you were talking about, the tail end and grunge taking over.
Yeah.
And sure, okay, we weren't selling records like we were, but
Right.
we were still doing the shit that we dreamed about doing as kids. And that seemed to actually, funnily enough, as the sales went down, we were still experiencing these ridiculous moments of, the Def Leppard tour, which was 5 months of just touring the US and
fucking
the
thing
Europe for 5 months in like '93. And it was just like this nonstop tour with one of them, arguably one of the most successful rock bands of all time.
Absolutely.
Dude, that fucking tour was 79 shows, I believe. Starting, we went all over the world, played sheds and then summer sheds in America. And it was catered locally each show. I mean,
Pyromania.
We were what, 25 or something, or 24 years old. So you got to get up at 3:30 in the afternoon for sound check.
You got to get up.
And then you get to go eat this rad meal that they made you
they were already on the
barbecue from Kansas or wherever. They were bringing in local, or maybe they had
a chef on the road.
They had a chef, no, I think it was
with all
Ozzy or somebody had local catering a couple times. No, but there was a fucking cooking crew on the thing. So then we got to play for what, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
And then we have all night. So you got to get up at 3:30.
We're 26 years old.
God damn, that was fun.
Yeah.
And it was just, and the guys were so cool. We really got to be friends with those dudes. And what just a bunch of great gentlemen those cats are, man. And dude, we went around the fucking world.
They were years older than us. Those guys started when they were like 17.
They were They were like fucking high school age.
Yeah.
They
had already, by the time we were, touring with, they had already been through it all.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost a member, guy lost his arm. Like they've been through, and they've had probably the van days and then the absolute pyromania thing. And then they also had their little bit of their kind of like not being as big, but you're never going to take a band down like that. I don't care what happens.
Dude, I'm vaping in your crib. Is that cool?
Oh, yeah, dude. As long as it doesn't smell like fucking weed, I don't care.
Yeah.
No, it smells like cotton candy. I like it.
I don't take the weed, bro.
Yeah,
I don't take
either.
weed. Do you take weed?
Sometimes I do a little.
I'm not a fan of weed. I'm an adult. I like the cocaine.
Yeah.
One thing I love about Def Leppard is, so many bands are using fucking tracks now, and I hate that.
Right.
Def Leppard is one of those bands that you would excuse it.
Yeah.
Just because of those fucking background vocals, but they're not.
Right. They're really
they're
good.
100% fucking live. It's insane.
Man, for me, I got to do 7 shows playing slide on 2 steps behind with those guys.
Really?
Yeah, because me and Phil were fucking around backstage, and I had bought this fucking like a miniature lap slide with the little thing, the bridge on there, and you could play it like a dobro sort of in a steel mixed. But we were jamming 2 steps behind, and then Joe walked by one day and was like, "Man, you guys got to do that live." And I've never had a more nerve-wracking experience because I'm not that fluent. It's not my first instrument by all means. It's trying to play. I could play slide underneath regular.
Yeah.
But it so, and I think there was maybe I beefed on one. That was the last time. I think I hit an E major during a G chord. So guitar players, you'll know that's a fucking shit show. No, I'll try it tonight with your G chord on panhandling.
Okay,
and we'll see how that fucking goes. Yeah. So, but I mean, just to feel that moment, to be on stage with those guys, I was
you were
tripping.
the headlining.
I was like, wow, dude, this is what they feel.
Yeah.
It's just rad.
Nah, it's just insane, dude.
Right.
Fucking Leopard. It's like I said, how good they are.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
very well.
They're fantastic every time.
Well,
Just trying to find my phone so I can look at the time. Just want to make sure.
Well,
I want to keep you guys.
And what's crazy is that they're just still. I mean, that was a long time ago. It was 94.
yeah, they're still
Dudes are
out
still
there,
out there
rolling it.
tearing it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I was just on the Monsters of Rock cruise. I'm one of the hosts on it, and
95.
Rick was on there because he's selling his art.
Yeah.
Rad.
Yeah. Have you
Nice.
guys done cruises? Have you?
We've done we did the one
We did Mallorca.
Mallorca, but I mean
Mallorca.
the
The
German,
German metal cruise in
It was
Mallorca.
the-
Oh, okay.
it was
Yeah.
like full
That
metal
was
cruise.
That was fun as hell. A little chilly when we played, but other than that,
Oh, yeah.
people were having a fucking blast.
Oh, it was fun,
That's
yeah.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
most beautiful like scenery in the rooms were fantastic.
The best
So,
single
that was
best
great.
room I've ever stayed in my entire life. Period. It
By
was
a mile.
This,
Yeah.
they gave us.
It
the
was
best
fucking
rooms
nuts.
in the boat. It was the top floor. We each had a 2-level suite.
Yeah,
And a deck with like not lawn chairs, whatever they're called, those deck chairs,
Mhm.
overlooking the fucking ocean. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
That was our room, and I was in my room alone. I was like, man, I should have
Yeah.
brought the family. Like it was like,
Yeah, right.
I was like telling my wife, like, oh man, if I would have known you guys would be all here. We played 3
Yeah.
shows in like 5 days on a boat.
It was
Yeah,
crazy.
So it was
great.
like,
you could sit on a
Yeah.
fucking. I think it was like you'd sit on the couch and there's this giant view.
and it
of
had a
the
button
ocean,
that closed the thing.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the most amazing room, and it's
Yeah.
a floating room. It was like,
Were you guys out and about hanging, or were you?
yeah,
Fucking
it
A.
was cool.
Yeah.
It was a really actually pretty mellow crowd considering.
Yeah,
It
man.
was a heavy metal cruise, it was very well behaved.
Right.
And people now in the metal world are a little older. They're all like 40
Yeah.
plus, and they're not as wild and stupid
Right,
as,
right, right,
as
right.
we were when we were in our 20s. So it wasn't super out of control. It still gets crazy, but it's a little more wholesome, I guess is the word.
Right. Were you
Yeah.
guys like the lightest band on there? I mean, if it was,
No.
we're talking metal bands.
No.
Oh no, okay.
What are you saying? No.
Well, you know what I mean.
I don't remember who.
Get on that.
I
Have you
forgot
heard
who
our
plays.
song?
Been a while. Who the
Um,
fuck it was heavy bands?
You're right. I would
Yeah.
think there was a lot of thrash metal
Yeah.
bands.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
There's bands that kind of like are more in the Europe. They're a little more poppy metal.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like,
No, there was there was a couple of tweeners.
yeah,
Right.
We're like
That
one of
weren't
maybe
totally
3
fucking
more pop bands.
heavy.
Yeah, the only reason I asked
More
that is 'cause
glam.
I know,
We're
like,
one of the more
look,
glam bands.
look
yeah.
more glam. Yeah, there you go. Like in Europe, a lot of those festivals, they'll have these super heavy fucking bands where
Yeah.
their logo looks like,
Well, you can't. It's
You can't read it.
undecipherable. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, right. But then they'll throw in, a band like you guys
Yeah,
or whoever, and it's just so
No
weird how they do, and the crowd loves it.
Dude, it's like we're
Yeah,
like a rad
variety.
little, like we're like a little break from the mosh pit of people. Now they
Yeah.
can just sing along. And that's the thing about Europe that what I was talking about when we started touring a lot in Europe after the sort of sales started going down here.
Yeah.
We went there. Oh, I like your tattoo, TCB.
Hail to the king, baby.
That where like you would be put on a bill with like what we would be like, oh no, like we played with Sepultura in Brazil
Oh,
back then
that
in
was scary.
'94, and we were a little bit like Brazil, Sepultura, but the headliner was Robert Plant,
Yeah.
right? And Sepultura, it was Sepultura, Ugly Joe, Robert Plant. That's the order, and
Yeah.
the live was the opening band live.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
so we were like, but it was great. I mean, the kids were singing every word to the Sepultura songs, and we came on there singing every word to our songs, having a blast.
It really was, yeah.
Ugly Kid Joe
It was
signs,
great.
blow up dolls floating around, and then Robert Plant comes on and they're singing all the Zeppelin songs. So it was like it's weird when you go to these festivals, like you were saying. Even now we play Wackin in Germany.
Yeah.
It's full metal, and we'll be in there, and it's as if we're Danzig or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
The
no
fear,
big-
the
it's
fear
no
that
deal.
Sepultura instilled in me, I was like, fuck, we're screwed. But then it worked out great. It was actually both of those shows in Sao Paulo and Rio were
Arguably two of the
fantastic.
greatest shows we've ever had.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, it was fucking
Bullet,
crazy.
everything. Yeah, no, there seems there's a lot. It's not so specific genre in each show. It's like
especially with
put a bunch of bands on
70, what was 80,000 people on those shows? Maybe
80,000 Sao Paulo.
Yeah, so you get a lot of
show to date,
different types of people, obviously.
Did you guys ever play with Pantera?
No.
Never. Did you ever cross paths with those guys?
He produced a bunch of shit.
I did 2 records for Phil.
Okay.
Both I did the Supergiant Ritual records.
Okay.
He's from where I'm from.
Okay.
So yeah, me and him hooked up back up when I got home from Ugly Kid Joe. Like the following year, I started to record demos and kind of got hooked up with the NOLA scene with Clear Light and Jimmy Bower and those guys. I Hate God and Crowbar. I did records for, and all that kind of came in with Phil because he was now living 10 minutes from where I'm from.
Right.
In Folsom.
No, I was just curious because he playing with all these heavy bands. Like, well, fuck, maybe they played with Pantera too.
Now they Anthrax on Halloween in Dallas, where the brothers live.
Yeah,
and they came to the show because they're friends with the dudes in Anthrax, and we went to Dimebag's house after and just raged. No, we went to the strip club.
She went to the strip club.
Yeah.
And then to Dimebag's
then he was
house.
wearing boxer shorts and cowboy boots at the strip club. They were by the way, the nicest two dudes in the world.
Really cool.
They were like, "What's up? Come to the club," and we were all hanging out. It was us, Anthrax, and Dimebag. And
legendary night.
It was so fun. And then we ended up in Dimebag's house, and I remember his tech was like, "Check this out. This is all." It's like it was like the dream house for what you would think a heavy metal kid with money would do. It's like all about big screen TVs. He had a smoke machine coming out of the I'm not even joking. Him and his tech had rigged the smoke machine so that the whole living room would be full of the smoke. The guy even took me in the attic and showed me how it all worked. And then he had, like I said, they opened the thing and it was all just Doritos and all the raddest snacks you could ever imagine. Like, help yourselves to this. Tons of booze. And then in the garage they had a studio, and the tech let me play Dime's guitar through the Randall amps. You know, it's just like, the two of the nicest dudes ever. We never played with the band, but we got to hang out, have a full rad hang with the brothers, and it was like the nicest, funnest, down to earth dudes I've ever met.
I loved about those guys is they were just fans.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like the dude with the smoke machine and the snacks and the big screen TV and the Kiss poster.
But it didn't matter like what, where you fit in the rock world. They didn't care.
They didn't care.
They were just such huge fans of music.
Yeah.
I met Vinny up here in Vegas, God, 7 years ago, something like that. It was the Babies, Firehouse, and Bobby Blotzer's Rat.
Yeah.
And there's fucking Vinny, fucking A.
I love
that. Did you go? We went to the Rose Garden somewhere in New York. I forgot the name of the venue, but it was about a 5,000 seater, and saw Pantera when we were on tour one time.
Yeah.
Fuck. And I knew Phil, but I hadn't seen him like one-on-one live like that. And it was so badass and dangerous and tight. I mean, God damn, man. I was blown away. I got my brains blown out that night. I was like, holy fuck, that's the real deal. Like that, it had to be the heaviest, tightest band I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, dude. Fucking Pantera. It's just they were just.
I
think I saw them on the Southern, the Great Southern Trendkill.
Yeah.
No. It was
Reinventing.
The one that I think the one that had 5 minutes alone on it. Far Beyond Driven. Yeah.
I think that's what the tour was that we were watching.
Rad album.
I think, I don't know, whatever, it was 1992, but
well, if Typo was, I mean, we had Typo, we were supposed to have Typo Negative on that tour, but they had to cancel because singer's dad got.
Did you see the footage of the Chili show of the new?
No.
Holy, it's just, if you've seen that, oh man, it's the greatest.
Oh wow,
you got to look on that and see that's fucking badass. You haven't seen it? It's dude.
Well, I mean, they got the two perfect
people. Greatest.
They got the two perfect
people that totally can do it and deserve it, and they're bros and they knew each other. I mean,
that audience says it all. You watch that and you're like, holy shit. And people remember and it's insane.
Back to you guys a little bit.
Yeah.
We could sit and talk rock and roll
Oh,
all
yeah.
fucking day long, and I love that stuff. But you know, obviously, you're here to talk about you guys too.
Sure.
Were you surprised, one, at the success of Cats in the Cradle, and two,
Yeah, for sure.
how much did that help elongate the career?
Exactly the word. It
A lot.
totally elongated it by a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it was actually, you know, it was obviously a song we didn't write, and it was a song we had been covering for. Whit was covering in a band before Ugly Kid Joe, so he's been covering this song forever. It was his childhood song that him and his sister, you know, grew up singing or whatever and listening to all the time. And so when we were doing the record, we were actually, you know, a couple of songs died in the process of making the record and didn't make the record. So we were like looking for something to fill the space. And so we're like, well, we covered this song, let's try it. And our producer, Mark Dodson, was like, yeah. And we started getting, he played sitar on it, like an actual, right? It was like a, and so we just went for it and had, you know, it was like a you know, I think it was a departure from all the other songs. There was barely any distorted guitars, and it was like this kind of different thing. And it sounded great. I mean, Whit sang that vocal in a one take, I think, during the scratch recording, and I'm in the room with him.
Using
with a acoustic, because Whit's very like sensitive to like being in a booth with a thing. He hates that. He loves singing through a mic, or he loves having a guitar player in the room with him, or he likes being in the room with the band. So I ended up going to the booth with him because he was just not, and playing guitar, and I was like, this is going to show up on that Neumann, but I just said, fine, you better play it as good as I possibly can. And I'm not the greatest acoustic player. And it was that vocal track of him in that booth with me that made the album. Yeah. And it was just so real.
Yeah. Mark Dodson, I mean, really stepped up. I mean, I still listen to that and go like, wow. I mean, it's just a great match for him to be on that record.
Yeah.
With us the whole, you know, over time. I mean, because I produce and I go back and listen, I'm like, whoa, man, you know, that was, I mean, and that track, he just made it sound fucking phenomenal, in my opinion. Really badass. And fucking A, that elongated the because that shit, we were, you know, we once landed, you know, this is well into it, man. I remember we had landed in London because you fly into Heathrow to get to everywhere, and jumped in a weird English cab, and that fucking thing was #1, man. It like pop radio or something, the top of the pops or something, and it came on, and we were like, fuck yeah, dude. And so that, even on this tour, people fucking love to hear us play that song. So,
well, you know, this also goes back to that Great Wall of Nirvana, you know, and you guys had the success where you, I mean, how much pressure did you feel to be able to follow up Hate Everything About You?
And we're not this, we're the kind of people like that just sort of enjoy, I mean literally was fucking having a blast, and we went and wrote a bunch of songs, and we had Shannon join the band, so we were excited about all of it, you know, even when we realized, you know, that, well, it's not popping off or whatever. I mean, I think we were just joking about it. We were all, look, dude, it came out like number 30 or something on the album, but we never had the mentality of like thinking about whether we're going to succeed or not. We're just doing what we're doing and plowing our way through it and having a blast. And of course, even with that in America, then we have, you know, these treats that would show up like, oh, you guys are going to tour with Bon Jovi in stadiums, you know? So we were fucking having a blast.
Yeah. The label, I think, was
by
the
a
one
mile.
that would they were obviously, it's a lot of pressure once you have a platinum thing to recreate that. And so Pat's in a way, I mean, I think Out of the Box Neighbor was a single, did really good on MTV. Yeah. And the record did about gold. And then it was starting to go down, right? And all of a sudden Cats hit it. It just went right back to the charts. And it went to platinum. So in a way, a mission accomplished, you know, a platinum record, you can't deny. But I did remember the label, you know, they probably looked at it like, we want this thing to go double platinum. You know, you heard them talking in the next room, and I'm like, okay, I mean, you know, but you know, you try not to let that get to you as being a songwriter and
no, and
band,
certainly during the writing of Motel, I mean, I don't think anybody ever once thought it or said it like, oh, we really got to figure out like to write a single that'll follow up. You know, we were just happy. We were happy to just be, you know, even the recording process was a blast. You know, we had a big house in Santa Ynez and killer setup, you know, and it was just, and we were back in Santa Barbara and it was literally one of the best 2 years was when we got back. Me and I got a couple of houses, man. We had all these friends and we had studios at our houses. It was the greatest Santa Barbara days. For me, it was fantastic. Other than like the early IV days,
We got dogs.
we had dogs. We each got like a golden
We
retriever.
finally got a yard, and we're like,
Yeah,
we got dogs.
those were the fucking days, man. So then we got to leave all that fucking radness to go tour the greatest fucking tours, man. God, yeah, it was so that that. At least I don't remember any kind of mentality like that. And I think Klaus nailed it on the head that it probably was mostly internally the record label thinking about, shit, we need something to.
Well, I mean,
figure
I
out.
think that says something, because I think a lot of people would feel, how the fuck am I going to follow this up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're definitely not those types of people.
Yeah.
We never have been.
Well, we certainly, going back to both the songs, Everything
Yeah.
About You and Cats in the Cradle were not songs that we were like hanging our hat on.
Right,
thinking this will
right.
break the band, or this is
Yeah.
we are. Those are songs literally that were like, we as a band, our crowd pleasers at the time were like Neighbor and Panhandling and Things Funky Fresh and things like that. And those are songs that were kind of came in later. And that, I mean, a hit song's weird, man. You don't know what is gonna stick. And Everything About You was, just a song we'd play, and all of a sudden you start getting this, even when we're just doing the clubs and the parties, people just start singing along to it, and we're like, wow, there's something going on with this song, but even I'm saying we never really wrote songs thinking this be on the radio.
This one's a hit.
Of course, that's a dream. I mean, that was the greatest moment.
And even the birth, if I remember correctly, this could be totally fucking wrong because I'm old, but even the Cats in the Cradle, I believe, was a leak from someone in Denver, or
it wasn't even like
we weren't thinking like, okay, we're gonna come out with this big single. It got out on the radio and started to get the spins
on its own,
and then that on its own, and then that created the next step of video and then going after it as a single, and then so that really was a public response, which happens a lot. I mean, it was similar to my biggest song, Evanescence, Bring Me to Life, did the same fucking thing. Really, there was like no one would play the fucking song because nobody wanted an opera singer with a piano and whatever. Back then, the goth kids where you'd kick them in the hallway in 7th grade, but suddenly that we did the same thing as Cats in the Cradle. And oddly enough, I think it was Denver. Right. It was something like that. I don't know. It's probably wrong, but
he produced Evanescence.
Okay. Yeah. We could go down that fucking rabbit hole.
That's
too.
we don't need to go down there.
The time.
But that comparison's the same thing where the public sometimes if somebody
man.
spins something, then the public takes over. And so, we had no idea when making Cats, and we loved it. I mean, I knew it was great back then when Dotson was playing it back. We'd be like, this is rad, but none of us were thinking when we fit. Okay, well, we polish the album off, you go on a tour with Ozzy. None of us are thinking like, oh yeah, I can't wait till Cats in the Cradle comes out, because it went the other way. It was where the public decided on their own on a spin, I believe in Denver, that it would be a hit, so it's a lucky ride on that.
That's the way it goes.
Fucking right.
That's just the fucking way it goes. And we're gonna wrap up here pretty quick, so I have to get you guys a sound check.
All right.
But I did. We were talking about recording. As a producer and musicians, how do you feel about like just going in the studio and recording live, as compared to sitting down with Pro Tools and just layering the shit?
Combination.
Well, we've never had a gridded drum set. We are mostly just using Pro Tools as if it was a tape machine, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Like none of the drummers have ever, on, high pressure big records, I'll go and have editing done on the drums if we need it. But like with Shannon or Zach and those are the last two guys that have been recording with us, well, then it's unnecessary by all means. So really we have a live floating track and maybe a click going with it, and we didn't even have a click on this last record, which
wow, that's good.
Zach and Shannon. Fully just go for it, count off and fucking go for it. I think one or two of them that we wanted to keep some of the stuff on two of my songs where there was already stuff that was just like overdubs and things we could keep to add to the song. So, but that whole fucking record, man, is just like Lola. I mean, listen, those drums are so good, and it's a live take, man.
I love that. And I tell you why I love that. There's this guy on YouTube. He's like the Rhythm Doctor or something like that.
Yeah.
And he took Running with the Devil and time corrected it and it ruined the fucking song.
Oh yeah, it's a different thing.
Ruined it.
Yeah.
There's just something about the way a drummer plays live.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, if it's not perfect time, who fucking cares?
Man, I have Lawn Train running in a multi-track because I got a bunch of these back in the day. And you can go to the front, or you can just do it on the CD or the CD. You can do it on the MP3. But if you look at the first 2 bars and then you compare it to the last 2, they're like 5 BPM difference.
Yeah.
So the whole song, they're getting faster and faster, but it feels amazing. You know,
Yeah.
it's just because that's the way they did it. And then I found, of course, these dudes, they're waiting on the background mic. And then one guy, they're waiting to punch in. And he goes, well, I guess it wasn't any good if he's going to punch it. I dug through all this shit and found this guy saying, I was like, what the? Because I would sit there. I was so amazed that I had these tracks, you know? And so I would sit there and listen to what was going on. Like, because they just left it. I mean, it was obviously muted on the board probably, but but the track's still there. These dudes are hanging out with headphones on, about to sing backgrounds, man. So rad. I was like, I backed it up. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I had Def Leppard's where he goes, and it turns out so I was able to flip it backwards because it's backwards on the record. So I flipped it back normally. He's all Baryshnikov is an asshole or something.
And what's that Cleveland about?
No, there's one somewhere else where he says Baryshnikov is an asshole.
Joe Elliott?
On there. I went and just started digging through all this shit.
That is fucking hilarious.
He nerds out, as you can tell.
Dude, I
He
mean,
gets-
I was blown away, man. They were trading these multi-tracks back when they would bring all the reels in to dump them on 5.1 in 2005. And so we had all back when you'd have to steal software. So we had all the software. We started trading it. These nerd engineers would stay up at night and stay in the studio and dump all that shit to Pro Tools. And then they would start to trade them for software and money, you know. And so I got I got like 15 major tracks, man. ABC, Michael Jackson, Run of the Devil. I got all the individuals.
Wow.
You name it, man. Bohemian Rhapsodies, individuals. I have David Lee Roth 6 tracks before that Ted Templeman comped them. So you have every take that David did. It's rad. At the end of it, he's like, yeah, you ought to be able to find something now, man. You know, like, and there's all this fucking crazy shit he was doing. And you finally get through and you go, oh, he used that one. You know, you can go through and hear the comp of it. It's insane.
That's fucking great.
It's been years since I dug through them, but I got them all sitting there.
That's fucking killer. So where are you guys off to after Vegas?
We are going to Albuquerque, tonight.
Albuquerque.
We're going to leave tonight.
Okay. And then how long are you guys going to be out on the road? I mean,
June 6th, I believe.
Okay.
I feel like this is the last show in Destin, I think. Yeah.
Right. Is Fozzy with you the entire time?
Pretty much.
Most of it.
There's a couple shows not, but almost the whole thing.
Yeah. A little 4 or 5 show stretch. I forgot where it is. Somewhere in America.
No, he's just a couple, I think. We already.
Oh, is it? I thought there was like 5 or so left that were alone, but maybe not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he does have wrestling shit to do. No.
Yeah,
He's got a day job.
Yeah, stuff to do.
All right. If they want to find the dates, just uglykidjoga.com.
.net.
Sure.
Yeah. Somebody's got .com, and I've been reaching out to them for 15 years, and it's just some bot spider.
It's awful.
It's
right.
It's
of course.
It's impossible
Not having it.
Oh man, Klaus, Dave, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, man.
Next time you guys are in town, fucking hit
we
me
have
up.
a new record out.
Yeah. Tim kind of forgot to tell me about that. You know, you have a new record out. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that why we're here? Oh no, the show tonight on the Strip, and then which is our first time on the Strip, I believe, right? The actual Las Vegas
I think
Boulevard,
so.
right?
I believe so.
At the Hard Rock, and then the record's Rad Wings of Destiny.
Yep.
Homage to the great Judas Priest.
Of
for
course.
the time. And it's available everywhere where records are available.
Yeah, dude.
Spotify, Apple, things like that.
Tower
Records.
Yeah.
That's it.
Blockbuster.
So,
video.
The Warehouse.
Warehouse Records.
You'll find Music Land.
Fuck yeah, dude. The used bin at Target.
Yeah.
It's in, I mean, that's first one in there. It's like 30.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm trying to be funny. It didn't work. Total fail.
I was waiting for the cutouts. All right. Thank you guys. We'll be back next week. Like, you guys know how this shit works. I don't know who I'm going to have, but I'll be here. My name's Izzy Presley. This has been another fucking podcast. Go see Ugly Kid Joe. Buy the new record. And what I lack in talent, I make up for in cock. I say good day.